The galaxy asked for soldiers. Humans sent the hunters. No one survives. Part 1. The galaxy was in chaos. 1,000 worlds were at war, and countless species were begging for help. Their enemies were ruthless, their weapons unimaginable. Leaders of the galaxy's council met in the High Hall of Vesari, a shining city in space that floated above a purple gas giant. They were desperate. "We need soldiers," said Commander Zell, a tall alien with blue skin and fur arms. His voice was sharp, like metal scraping against metal. "Our fleets cannot stop the Drakari. They will burn every world if we do nothing." Other council members whispered among themselves. Some were small, furry creatures. Others had tentacles or wings. All of them looked worried. They had heard the stories of the Drakari. Few survived encounters with them. A young alien diplomat, Lyra, spoke next. Her skin glowed faintly pink, and her eyes were wide with fear. "We have one hope. There is a species called humans. They are strong, clever, and unpredictable. If anyone can fight the Drakari, it is them." Murmurs filled the hall. Humans were known, even in the far corners of the galaxy. Their ships could outmaneuver many others. Their soldiers could survive in impossible conditions. But they were also different. Some council members did not trust them. "They fight without orders," said Zark, a thick-scaled alien with a voice like a drum. "They will not listen to our commands. Sending humans is risky. But it is the only choice," Lyra said. "We cannot survive without them." On Earth, in a hidden military space base under the Nevada desert, humans were already aware that the galaxy needed them. Captain Alex Carter stood in front of a large window, looking at the fleet of sleek, black ships. The hunters, as they were called, were ready. Alex was tall and lean, with dark hair and green eyes. He had led many dangerous missions on Earth, but this would be different. This was not a small fight. This was a call from the galaxy itself. Beside him, Lieutenant Mia Turner checked her weapons. Mia was fierce, with short brown hair and a calm voice that could command a room. "Captain," she said, "our ships are ready. The crew is trained. We can leave whenever you say the word." Alex nodded. "Good. Let's hope the galaxy is ready for us too." The hunters were not like other soldiers. They were trained to survive anywhere, to fight anything. They had missions on planets with toxic air, scorching heat, freezing cold, and even in deep space where nothing could live. They did not fear death, because they had learned to face it every day. As the human fleet prepared to depart, alarms went off in the Council's High Hall. A Drakari attack fleet had been spotted near the outer edge of the sector. The Council members panicked. Ships exploded in space as the Drakari unleashed their weapons. Planets lit up like fireworks in deadly colors. Back on Earth, Alex watched the news feed from orbit. "They are worse than we imagined," he said. "The Council was right. We need to move fast." Mia placed a hand on his shoulder. "Then, let's move, Captain. No one else can do this." The hunters boarded their ships, which glowed with energy and power. Each ship had advanced weapons, shields, and cloaking abilities. They were fast, almost like comets streaking through the darkness of space. As they entered hyperspace, Alex thought about what awaited them. The Drakari were known as the Hunters of Worlds. They killed everything in their path, leaving nothing alive. If the reports were true, no army in the galaxy had survived against them. And now, humans would be the first to meet them head-on. Meanwhile, on the Drakari homeworld, in a dark fortress of black metal and green fire, the enemy prepared for the humans' arrival. General Kor, a massive creature with glowing red eyes, watched the approaching ships on a huge holographic screen. "They come," Kor said. His voice shook the walls of the fortress. "The humans. They think they can stop us. They will fail." One of his lieutenants, a thin creature with wings that sparkled like broken glass, spoke. "They are clever, General. Reports say they survive situations no one else can. They may be different from other species." Kor laughed, a sound like rocks crushing together. "Different means nothing. They will die like the rest." In space, the human fleet entered the border of Drakari territory. Stars burned with strange colors, and asteroids floated like deadly obstacles. Sensors detected massive energy readings, Drakari warships, far larger than any humans had seen. Alex called his team together. "We are the hunters. We don't retreat. We don't surrender. Remember, The galaxy is counting on us. Let's make them regret ever seeing us. The hunters' ships spread into formation, moving like predators through the void. They did not fear the enemy. Every human knew the risks, but they also knew something the aliens did not fully understand. Humans could survive, adapt, and fight in ways that others could not imagine. Suddenly, alarms blared across the ships. The Drakari fleet had detected them. Massive energy blasts streaked through space, trying to hit the humans. The hunters dodged and weaved, their ships moving faster than anyone could follow with the naked eye. Mia shouted from her ship, "They are targeting the lead ships. We need to split formation." Alex's ship changed course sharply, leading a group of hunters toward a cluster of asteroids. They used the debris as cover, firing weapons that glowed blue and green, cutting through enemy ships with precise strikes. Back on Earth, scientists monitored the battle. Dr. Ethan Mills, a lead strategist, spoke into a communicator. "Captain Carter, your tactics are unexpected but effective. Keep using the asteroids. Their weapons are less accurate near obstacles." Alex nodded, even though Ethan could not see him. "Understood. We will do what we do best. We are humans. We survive." Hours passed, and the hunters managed to break through the Drakari lines. Ships that seemed indestructible were destroyed by careful, precise strikes. The Drakari were surprised. No species had ever fought them this way. No species had ever survived the first encounter. But Alex knew the real fight was just beginning. The Drakari would not give up. They would regroup and strike harder. And somewhere in the galaxy, the Council watched in awe. Humans were not only surviving, they were winning. As the hunters prepared to land on the first Drakari planet, Alex took a deep breath. "This is where it begins," he said quietly. "We are the hunters. We are human. And we are unstoppable." The ships descended toward a barren world, filled with dark mountains and rivers of green fire. Energy shields flared across the landscape as Drakari warriors gathered below. The first humans stepped onto the ground, ready to face what no one else could. And in that moment, the galaxy realized something new. Humans were not just soldiers. They were a force of nature. They were hunters. And no one had ever seen a hunter like this before. The Drakari roared in defiance. They had never met a species that refused to die. And the humans smiled, steady and calm. They were ready to fight, to survive, and to prove that even in the darkest corners of space, humans could stand where no one else could. The first battle had begun, and the galaxy would never forget the day humans answered the call. Part 2. The barren planet shook with the force of the Drakari weapons. Mountains crumbled, rivers of green fire surged, and the ground seemed to burn under the humans' boots. Alex Carter and his hunters spread across the rocky terrain, their weapons ready. "This place is worse than the reports," said Mia Turner. Her voice was steady, but her eyes scanned every shadow. "Keep your eyes open. They could be anywhere." Alex nodded. "Stay alert. They think we will fear them. They are wrong." Around them, the Drakari advanced. Towering warriors with glowing red eyes and jagged armor moved like shadows over the rocks. They carried weapons that pulsed with energy, designed to tear flesh and metal alike. But the humans did not flinch. Jake Miller, one of the youngest hunters, gripped his pulse rifle tightly. "Captain, they're everywhere. How do we fight them all?" Alex looked at the soldiers. Every human was calm, even though they faced an enemy far larger, far stronger, and far more dangerous than anything on Earth. "We fight smart," he said. "Not just with weapons, but with our minds. We are hunters. That is how we survive." The humans split into small groups, moving silently through jagged canyons. Their boots left no sound on the blackened rocks. Their armor, sleek and light, glimmered faintly under the green light of the rivers. Suddenly, one of the groups spotted a Drakari patrol. 3 massive warriors were scanning the area, their energy weapons glowing bright red. "Do you see them?" whispered Alex into his communicator. "We take them quietly. No alarms." Mia nodded. "Cover me. I'll take the lead." She darted forward, faster than any Drakari could react. In moments, the patrol was down, moving silently into the shadows with the rest of the humans. Even though the Drakari were huge and fierce, the humans' speed and intelligence gave them an edge. They understood tactics other species could not imagine. They worked together as a team, communicating silently with hand signals and subtle gestures. After hours of careful movement, the humans reached the first Drakari stronghold. It was massive, a fortress of black stone and green fire. Energy shields flickered across its walls, protecting it from attack. Alex looked at the fortress. We take it from the inside. That's how we win. We never fight their strength head-on. We hit where it hurts. The hunters prepared their equipment. Mia attached a small device to her belt. This will disable their shields for a short time, she said. We go in fast, get what we need, and get out. As they approached the fortress, alarms suddenly blared. The Drakari had detected them. Red beams of energy cut across the ground, forcing the humans to dive for cover. Move, Alex shouted. Spread out and keep going. The hunters ran through the burning ground, firing their weapons with precision. Each shot hit exactly where it needed to, piercing armor and disabling Drakari weapons. The Drakari roared in anger. They had never faced soldiers who fought like this. Inside the fortress, the humans found corridors filled with traps. The floors shifted, walls moved, and energy lasers cut across the paths. But the humans were prepared. They leaped, dodged, and moved in ways no alien could predict. Mia led a team to the control room. If we take this, we can open the doors for the rest, she said. They moved quickly, taking out guards silently. The control room was a large chamber filled with screens and glowing panels. Mia planted the device that would disable the fortress shields. Alex watched the perimeter. Good work. Shields going down in 3, 2, 1. A wave of energy swept through the fortress, and the shields flickered, leaving the walls exposed. The other groups of hunters moved in, firing at the Drakari with coordinated precision. The aliens were strong, but they could not match the human strategy. Hours passed, and the humans cleared the fortress. They had killed or captured many Drakari soldiers. They did not stop. They moved forward, deeper into enemy territory. Meanwhile, on a nearby cliff, a Drakari general observed the battle. Her green eyes burned with fury. Who are these humans? She demanded. They are stronger than we thought. Stop them at all costs. Her lieutenants shook their heads. We cannot. They are different. No one has fought like this before. The humans had a name for themselves in that moment. Hunters. Not just fighters, but predators who could track, outthink, and destroy their prey. Alex looked at the map of the planet. Several more strongholds were ahead. The Drakari were retreating to regroup, but the humans pressed forward. They moved like shadows, striking quickly, disappearing, then striking again. Jake Miller paused, looking at the battlefield. Captain, this is insane. How are we still alive? Every other species would have been wiped out by now. Alex smiled faintly. Because we adapt. Humans survive where others fail. That's why we were sent. That's why we are here. As night fell on the planet, the humans set up a small camp. Fires glowed in a safe zone, and the hunters rested briefly. They ate, repaired weapons, and shared stories quietly. Mia sat next to Alex. Do you think we can really win this? She asked softly. Alex looked at the sky, filled with strange stars and burning planets. I don't know yet, but I know one thing. We are humans. We fight. We survive. And we do not quit. At that moment, a massive explosion shook the planet. A new Drakari fleet had arrived, even larger than the first. Ships hovered above the mountains, firing energy beams that cut the ground and rocks apart. Time to move, Alex said. Hunters, get ready. This fight is only beginning. The humans packed quickly and moved toward their ships. Each soldier carried weapons, supplies, and determination. They were not just fighting for survival. They were fighting for the galaxy. The Drakari noticed the humans escaping. They fired relentlessly, but the hunters moved like shadows between crumbling mountains. Ships appeared and disappeared, striking before the enemy could react. One of the younger soldiers, Lily Hart, shouted in excitement. They can't hit us. We're too fast. Alex smiled. That's right. Humans never fight like anyone else. Remember that. The battle in the sky continued for hours. The hunters destroyed Drakari ships, avoided traps, and used the terrain to their advantage. They were unstoppable because they were unpredictable. By morning, the planet was mostly quiet. The Drakari had retreated, leaving only small patrols behind. The humans gathered, exhausted but alive. Alex looked at the stars. We have survived the first battle, but the war is far from over. The Drakari will not stop, and neither will we. Mia checked the communication devices. Captain, the council is amazed. They didn't think we could survive even one day. Alex shook his head. We are humans. They will learn. The galaxy will learn. We are the hunters, and no one survives like we do. For the first time, the humans felt a sense of pride. Not arrogance, but understanding. They were different. They were stronger, and the galaxy had called them for a reason. As they prepared to move to the next target, Alex looked at his team. Every soldier was ready, every weapon primed. The hunters were not just humans. They were legends in the making. And somewhere, deep in the Drakari Empire, General Kor received the news. Humans had not just survived, they had destroyed the first stronghold. His eyes burned with rage. They will die, he hissed. No species escapes the Drakari. We will hunt them down and finish what we started. But he did not yet understand the truth. Humans were not like other species. Humans could survive, fight, and win where no one else could. The hunters prepared to leave the planet. More battles awaited. More enemies, more dangers, and more impossible situations. But one thing was certain. Wherever the humans went, the Drakari would face a force they had never met before. And the galaxy would never forget the day humans became the hunters. Part 3. The galaxy was changing. Word of the humans' success traveled faster than light. Every species that had once doubted Earth soldiers now whispered their names in awe. The hunters were no longer just soldiers. They were a symbol of hope for the galaxy. On the next Drakari-controlled planet, a desert world filled with jagged rocks and endless sandstorms, Alex Carter and his team prepared to strike again. The air was thick with dust, and the sun burned like fire. But the humans did not falter. They were trained for extreme conditions. This place will try to kill us before the Drakari do, Mia said, adjusting her mask against the sand. Keep moving. Stay low. Alex nodded. We do what we do best. We survive, we fight, and we win. That's the human way. The hunters split into small units, moving like shadows across the desert. Sensors detected the Drakari in fortified positions near a canyon. The humans could see their energy shields flickering in the distance, like green fire against the red sands. Captain, they have too many soldiers for a direct assault, said Jake Miller. He was scanning the battlefield from a small dune. How do we get inside? Alex looked at the terrain. We use their strength against them. We make them think we attack one way, and we strike another. The plan was simple, but dangerous. Half of the hunters would create a diversion near the canyon's edge, drawing the Drakari out of position. The rest would sneak through a narrow canyon, moving unseen to strike at the fortress's weak points. As the diversion began, energy blasts lit up the desert sky. The Drakari roared, sending warriors and ships to defend their position. The humans near the edge moved quickly, dodging fire and returning shots with precision. They were small targets, moving faster than any alien could track. Meanwhile, Alex led his group through the narrow canyon. They crawled over sharp rocks, avoiding sensors and patrols. Every step was careful, every breath measured. One mistake could cost them everything. Lily Hart, a young hunter with keen eyes, whispered, "This place feels alive. I can feel them watching." "Good," Alex replied softly. "Use that. Humans sense danger in ways they cannot. Trust it." They reached the fortress walls, massive structures of black metal with glowing green lines of energy. A single small door marked the only way in. Alex planted a charge to open it quietly. "Door will open in 10 seconds, he said. "Get ready." When the door slid open, the humans slipped inside. They moved like shadows, taking out Drakari guards silently. They did not pause. The fortress corridors were narrow and dark, but the hunters' night vision and training gave them the edge. Hours passed as they advanced deeper into the fortress. The Drakari soldiers were formidable, but no match for the humans' coordination and intelligence. Every corner was checked, every path secured, and every enemy eliminated with careful precision. Outside, the diversion had worked perfectly. The Drakari forces had moved most of their soldiers to the canyon's edge, leaving the fortress vulnerable. Alex's group reached the central command room. The controls for the fortress were complex, but humans were quick learners. Mia planted a device that would disable the fortress shields and communication systems. Within seconds, the fortress was vulnerable, and the Drakari inside panicked. Alex and his team fought through the chaos, disabling weapons, capturing soldiers, and securing important data. They discovered maps of Drakari fleets, weapon locations, and hidden bases. The information would change the galaxy's war forever. Outside the fortress, the rest of the hunters continued to hold the Drakari forces at bay. They used speed, stealth, and teamwork to survive. Unlike any other species, humans did not rely only on strength. They relied on brains, instinct, and unity. As the sun set over the desert planet, the hunters regrouped. They had won the fortress, captured soldiers, and obtained vital intelligence. Not a single hunter had died. Many were injured, but all survived. Jake Miller looked at Alex. How do we keep doing this? How do we survive where everyone else fails? Alex smiled. Because we are humans. We adapt. We think. We fight together. That's why we are unstoppable. Meanwhile, deep in the Drakari Empire, General Kor's anger grew. The humans had defeated strongholds on 2 planets, survived ambushes, and struck where no one else dared. The Drakari began to fear the name humans. They are not just soldiers, Kor hissed. They are hunters, and they are learning faster than we can destroy them. Kor's lieutenants looked nervous. What can we do, General? We have never faced a species like this. Kor slammed his clawed hand on the table. We adapt. We learn. We will crush them. They cannot survive everywhere. We will find their weakness. But, even as Kor planned, humans were already moving again. The hunters did not wait. They struck quickly, moving from planet to planet, taking the Drakari by surprise. Each battle was different, each strategy unique. They were unpredictable. On a forested planet, the humans used the dense trees to hide. They set traps for Drakari patrols, capturing soldiers and gathering intelligence. On a frozen world, they moved across icy plains, avoiding hidden mines and ambushes. On a water planet, they used submersible vehicles to strike under the oceans. Everywhere they went, humans survived where others could not. They did not just fight, they adapted, learned, and conquered obstacles that seemed impossible. Mia observed one of the captured Drakari soldiers. They think they can scare us with their size and strength. They don't understand humans. Fear does not stop us. Alex nodded. Fear is a tool, but humans use courage. That is our strength. Back on the desert planet, the captured Drakari were interrogated. Humans used careful questioning, not cruelty. They wanted information, not revenge. The intelligence they gained allowed them to plan the next attacks with precision. As they prepared to leave the planet, a new threat appeared. A Drakari fleet, larger and more heavily armed than any before, blocked their exit. The humans paused, observing the enemy. The fleet was massive, almost like a moving planet. But the hunters were calm. Time for a new tactic, Alex said. We do not run. We do not panic. We fight smart. Everyone, follow my lead. The hunters spread out, using the planet's terrain and stealth to avoid direct confrontation. They moved through canyon networks, over dunes, and under cliffs, striking the fleet from unexpected angles. Energy weapons destroyed enemy ships, while humans remained mostly unseen. The Drakari grew frustrated. Their numbers were enormous, but the humans' speed, strategy, and intelligence gave them the advantage. Each strike was precise, each movement calculated. Finally, after hours of fighting, the fleet was scattered. The humans had survived again. Not a single hunter had been lost, though many were exhausted. Jake Miller shook his head in disbelief. Every time I think we can't survive, we do. How is this possible? Alex smiled. Because humans do not just fight. We survive. That is why we were sent. That is why we are here. As night fell, the hunters camped under the stars. Fires burned, and quiet laughter could be heard among the soldiers. They were tired but alive. They had proven once again that humans were not like other species. They could survive impossible situations. Mia sat beside Alex. The galaxy didn't know what it was asking for when it sent for humans, she said. We are not just soldiers. We are something else. Alex looked at the stars. We are the hunters. And no one survives like us. The galaxy will remember that. Far away, in the Drakari Empire, General Kor was growing more desperate. Humans were everywhere. They struck where no one expected, adapted to every environment, and survived battles that should have killed them. They cannot be stopped, Kor admitted quietly, though his pride would not allow him to say it aloud. They are different, and that difference was exactly why humans were unstoppable. They were clever, fast, adaptable, and brave. They were survivors. They were hunters. The next missions would be harder. Stronger enemies, larger fleets, more dangerous planets. But the humans did not fear them. They had proven that they could survive the impossible. They had proven that humans were a force the galaxy had never seen before. The hunters moved into hyperspace, leaving the desert planet behind. Ahead lay new challenges, new enemies, and new battles. But Alex Carter and his team were ready. They had survived twice, and they would survive again. Because humans never quit. Humans never surrender. Humans always fight. And the galaxy had only begun to understand what it meant to send the hunters. Part 4. The galaxy held its breath. Everywhere humans went, the Drakari feared them. Every battle ended with humans surviving where others failed. Yet, the war was far from over. Alex Carter and the hunters knew this. Each victory brought new challenges, and each planet was a test of survival, strategy, and courage. The next target was a volcanic planet. Rivers of molten lava flowed across the surface, and clouds of smoke and ash filled the sky. Drakari forces had built their largest fortress there, using the lava flows as natural defenses. The planet was dangerous, even without an enemy, but humans were ready. Alex gathered the team in the ship's briefing room. We have one chance to do this right. The Drakari will expect us to attack from space, but we will attack from the ground. They think the lava is their advantage. It's ours. Mia Turner nodded. The heat will slow them down, but not us. Our suits can handle it. We move fast, strike hard, and leave before they know what hit them. Jake Miller looked concerned. Captain, what if the lava flows change while we are inside the fortress? It could trap us. Alex smiled. Then, we adapt, like we always do. We are humans. No one survives like we do. The hunters landed near the edge of a lava river. The heat was intense, but the suits protected them. They moved quickly, using the shadows and smoke to hide their movements. Even in this extreme environment, humans were fast, silent, and efficient. The Drakari were ready. Towering soldiers with glowing eyes and jagged armor guarded the fortress. Energy shields flared around them as the humans approached. But the hunters did not hesitate. They attacked with precise strikes, using their knowledge of the terrain. Mia led a group through a narrow passage, moving above a river of lava. Watch your step, she said. One mistake, and we're gone. The passage was dangerous, but humans thrived in danger. Every movement was careful, every shot calculated. They disabled Drakari soldiers silently, clearing the way for the rest of the team. Inside the fortress, the corridors were filled with traps. Fire vents, moving walls, and energy lasers tested the hunters' skill. But humans were more than strong. They were smart. They used intelligence, speed, and teamwork to overcome every obstacle. Lily Hart, scanning ahead, whispered, Captain, there are hundreds more guards up ahead. How do we get through? Alex looked at the map of the fortress. We don't fight all of them at once. We split into teams, hit their weak points, and collapse their defenses from the inside. That's how humans win. The teams moved in perfect coordination. Some disabled weapons, others sabotaged communication, and a few captured key officers. The Drakari were strong, but humans were faster, smarter, and more adaptable. Every move was calculated, every attack precise. Meanwhile, outside the fortress, the rest of the hunters held the Drakari forces at bay. Energy weapons fired across lava fields, but the humans used speed and terrain to survive. The Drakari could not predict their movements. Every attack was unexpected, every defense outsmarted. Hours passed, and the fortress was compromised. The humans had disabled shields, destroyed weapons, and captured critical intelligence. The Drakari forces were in chaos. Their strongest soldiers were eliminated, and the planet's defenses crumbled. Alex called a regroup. Good work, everyone. We've done what no one else could. But stay alert. The Drakari will not give up easily. The hunters moved to higher ground to observe the battlefield. From there, they saw a massive fleet of Drakari ships approaching the planet. Hundreds of ships, larger and more heavily armed than anything before. The humans were outnumbered, but not afraid. Jake Miller spoke quietly. Captain, how do we fight all of them? Alex looked at the ships. We don't fight them like they expect. We attack smart. We use the environment. We force them into traps. That's how humans survive. The hunters split into smaller squads. Some moved through the volcano's tunnels, emerging unexpectedly to strike at the fleet from below. Others took control of energy points, disabling parts of the enemy's ships. Mia and her team moved along a lava river, using it as cover. They planted explosives and fired precision shots at the Drakari fleet. The ships were large, but humans were clever. They destroyed key vessels, causing panic and confusion among the enemy ranks. Hours turned into a full day of intense battle. Humans moved like shadows, striking, disappearing, and striking again. The Drakari could not predict their actions. They tried to regroup, but every plan was met with countermeasures humans had already anticipated. At one point, Alex's team faced a massive Drakari warrior, taller than any building on Earth, with energy weapons and jagged armor. The soldier roared, swinging massive arms. But the humans did not panic. They attacked with speed, agility, and strategy. Using coordinated moves, traps, and precision shots, they brought the warrior down without losing a single hunter. Lily Hart whispered in disbelief. How did we do that? That thing should have killed us all. Alex smiled. We are humans. We survived the impossible. As night fell, the battlefield was quiet. Most of the Drakari fleet had been destroyed or driven away. The fortress was in human hands, and the planet was secure. The hunters gathered, exhausted but alive. Mia looked at the team. We did it again. And no one died. Alex nodded. Yes, we survived. But this is only the beginning. The Drakari will come back, stronger and faster. And we will be ready. Humans do not give up. We do not surrender. We always fight. Back on Earth, the Council of the Galaxy watched in awe. The humans had taken a planet considered impossible to conquer. No other species could do what they did. Reports streamed in. Humans survived extreme heat, massive armies, and impossible situations without losing a single soldier. Lyra, the young alien diplomat, spoke to the council. They are not just soldiers. They are a force unlike anything we have ever seen. The galaxy must follow their lead. Humans are the hunters no one survives. Even the Drakari could not ignore the human success. General Kor's rage was matched only by his fear. How are they surviving? He demanded. No species could survive what they have. They are unstoppable. His lieutenants looked uneasy. We cannot beat them in traditional combat, General. They are too clever, too fast, too adaptable. Kor slammed his clawed hand on the table. Then, we fight differently. We trap them. We force them into impossible situations. They cannot survive everywhere. They must have a weakness. But Kor did not understand humans. Humans did not rely on strength alone. They relied on intelligence, instinct, and unity. They adapted to every situation, no matter how deadly. And they always survived. The hunters rested briefly on the volcanic planet. Fires from the lava illuminated their faces. Injuries were treated quickly, weapons repaired, and plans made for the next mission. Alex looked at the team. Tomorrow, we move to the next target. Stronger enemies, more danger, but we will survive. We are humans. We are the hunters. And no one survives like us. Mia stood beside him. Captain, do you think the Drakari will ever stop trying to kill us? Alex shook his head. No, but we don't need them to stop. We just need to survive and fight. That is enough. The hunters looked out over the lava rivers, knowing they had won another impossible battle. They had survived where others failed. They had proven that humans were a force the galaxy had never seen before. Somewhere in the Drakari Empire, General Kor plotted his next move. The humans had defeated their strongest soldiers, destroyed their largest fleets, and survived impossible conditions. They cannot be stopped, Kor whispered, almost to himself. We must change everything to defeat them. But humans were ready. Wherever the Drakari struck, they would find hunters waiting. They would find humans who were smarter, faster, and braver than anything in the galaxy. The next battles would be harder, the enemies stronger, and the situations more dangerous. But humans did not fear death. They had faced it before and survived. They would face it again and survive. The hunters moved into hyperspace, leaving the volcanic planet behind. Ahead lay new challenges, stronger fleets, and unknown dangers. But one thing was certain, humans would survive. Because humans were not just soldiers. They were hunters. They were a force no one had ever seen. And no one in the galaxy would ever forget it. The hunters were ready. The Drakari were coming. And the galaxy would witness humans in action, proving that no species could survive or fight like them. Part 5. The galaxy trembled. The Drakari were angry, desperate, and determined. They had lost too many soldiers, too many fleets, and too many planets to the humans. Yet, they believed they could still win. But they had not faced humans at their full strength. They had not faced the hunters united. Alex Carter stood on the bridge of the lead human ship, looking out at the massive Drakari armada. Hundreds of ships, larger than any humans had ever seen, moved like a dark cloud across the stars. Energy weapons glowed red, ready to fire. The humans were outnumbered, but they were calm. Mia Turner approached him. Captain, this is worse than anything we've faced. Do we really have a chance? Alex turned to her, green eyes steady. Mia, we are humans. We survive what no one else can. We fight where others fail. That is why we are here. That is why the galaxy called us. We have a chance because we are not afraid. Jake Miller adjusted his weapon. Captain, their fleet is enormous. Thousands of ships. How do we survive that? Alex smiled faintly. We do what humans do best. We adapt. We attack smart. We fight together. We are the hunters. The humans moved in formation, ships sleek and dark against the red glow of the enemy fleet. They did not fire immediately. They waited, observing, studying the Drakari. Every fleet has weaknesses, and humans had learned to find them. On a nearby planet, the Drakari General Kor watched the approaching humans. His red eyes burned with fury. They are coming, he hissed. Destroy them all. No one survives the Drakari. Yet, Kor did not understand humans. Humans were not just soldiers. They were hunters, and they fought differently. They did not rely on brute strength alone. They relied on strategy, teamwork, and unpredictability. As the Drakari fleet advanced, the humans split into smaller groups. Some moved close to the planets, hiding behind asteroids. Others took positions near moons and debris fields. Every movement was calculated. Every attack planned. Alex led the strike team into a cluster of asteroids, firing at Drakari ships with precision. One shot destroyed a massive cruiser. Another disabled the shields of a battleship. The Drakari were stunned. No one had attacked like this before. Mia's team struck from the opposite side, using the moons as cover. They fired energy beams that pierced enemy ships with deadly accuracy. The Drakari tried to regroup, but the humans were always one step ahead. In the chaos of battle, smaller human squads infiltrated Drakari ships. They planted explosives, disabled weapons, and captured enemy officers. Humans moved like shadows, invisible until they struck. Jake Miller shouted over the comms. Captain, their fleet is in chaos. Their ships are colliding, weapons firing at each other. They don't know what's happening. Alex smiled. That's how humans fight. Unpredictable, relentless, never giving up. Even with their overwhelming numbers, the Drakari were losing. Their strongest ships were destroyed, their strategies failed, and their soldiers were confused. Humans adapted to every move, countered every attack, and survived situations that should have killed them. On the battlefield, humans faced massive Drakari warriors. Each one towered over them, with armor that could deflect energy blasts. But humans did not fight like others. They used speed, intelligence, and coordination. A small team could bring down a giant warrior with clever traps and precise strikes. Lily Hart shouted as she set explosives under a giant Drakari machine. It exploded in a massive fireball, destroying the enemy and opening the path for the hunters to advance. "We did it," she yelled. "No one believed we could." Alex responded calmly. "We are humans. We survive. That is what we do." As the battle raged on, the Drakari fleet began to collapse. Ships collided, weapons malfunctioned, and soldiers panicked. Humans moved through the chaos, eliminating threats, rescuing captured allies, and securing planets. Mia observed the battlefield. "Captain, we've never seen them panic like this. They're losing control." Alex nodded. "Humans adapt. Humans survive. That is the difference." Back on Earth, the galaxy watched in awe. Humans had done what no species could. They had survived overwhelming odds, defeated the strongest armies, and captured key enemy territories. The galaxy had not just received soldiers, they had received hunters. Even Drakari planets far from the front lines trembled with fear. The word spread. Humans were unstoppable. No fleet, no warrior, no weapon could defeat them. On the command bridge of the human flagship, Alex looked at his team. "We are near the end. The Drakari will try one last attack, but we are ready. Remember, we fight together, we adapt together, we survive together. Humans do not quit." Mia smiled. "And no one survives like us." As predicted, the Drakari launched a final, massive assault. Thousands of ships moved at once, energy weapons blazing, lasers cutting through space. It was the biggest attack humans had ever faced. But the hunters were ready. Ships moved in coordinated patterns, using speed and terrain to avoid fire. Explosives and energy weapons disabled enemy vessels. Small teams infiltrated Drakari ships, creating chaos from within. Every human knew their role. Every human knew their strength. Alex piloted his ship directly into the heart of the Drakari fleet. The massive ships fired on him, but he dodged, using speed and clever maneuvers. One by one, he destroyed the enemy ships, opening a path for the rest of the hunters. Jake Miller followed closely, firing at the enemy. "Captain, they're falling apart. Their fleet is breaking." Alex nodded. "Keep pushing. We are humans. No one survives like us." On the ground, planets under attack were liberated. Drakari soldiers surrendered or fled. Humans used every skill they had learned: stealth, precision, strategy, and adaptability. No one else could survive the way humans did. The final strike came when Alex and Mia led a team into the Drakari command ship. Towering guards waited, energy weapons ready. But humans moved faster, striking together, using traps, precision shots, and careful planning. The command ship fell in minutes. General Kor, witnessing the defeat, could only roar in anger. "Impossible. How are they still alive?" Alex stood at the center of the command room, looking at the defeated Drakari. "We are humans," he said quietly. "We survive. We fight. We win." Mia joined him. "And no one survives like us." The Drakari were defeated, their fleets destroyed, their planets liberated, and their soldiers captured. Humans had done the impossible. They had survived where no one else could. They had fought the strongest armies in the galaxy and won. Alex addressed his team. "Today, the galaxy has learned a truth. Humans are not just soldiers. Humans are hunters. We survive, we fight, and we win. And no one, no species, no enemy survives like us." The galaxy erupted in celebration. Planets sent messages of gratitude. Alien species honored the humans. For the first time in history, the galaxy had seen the full power of humanity. Even the Drakari admitted defeat. They had never faced a species like humans. They had underestimated their courage, intelligence, and unity. They had learned a hard lesson. Humans were unstoppable. On the human flagship, Alex looked out at the stars. "The galaxy called for soldiers," he said softly. "We answered. We survived. And we will continue to protect it, because that is what humans do." Mia placed a hand on his shoulder. "The galaxy will never forget today. We are the hunters no one survives." Alex smiled, looking at his team. Exhausted, battle-worn, but alive. Stronger than ever. "And as long as we are here, no one will. Not the Drakari. Not anyone. We are humans. And humans survive." The stars shone brightly, signaling the end of the greatest battle the galaxy had ever seen. Humanity had proven itself. not through sheer numbers, but through intelligence, courage, and unity. The hunters had changed the galaxy forever. They were legends in the making. And the message was clear: where humans go, hope survives. Where humans fight, victory follows. And where humans live, no one survives like them.